Dusty says the idea for running this free show opposing Vince and WrestleMania and just the whole concept for Clash of the Champions comes to him on the ride home from the Bunkhouse Stampede. Crockett loved the idea, so they go pitch it to Turner executives, and Dusty says they're on board immediately. Who would have been the folks at Turner that Dusty and Crockett would have been dealing with at that time, and how do you remember that relationship with Turner execs being?
The relationship, the person that I remember was a guy named Jeff Carr, who was, I think he was like an assistant program director. I always thought Jeff was a fucking idiot. But he seemed to me that he felt like he had a lot of power, that he could, whatever he says would go. But the flip side of Jeff was he was a wrestling fan where no one else in Turner Broadcasting was.
Right.
So he was our contact. He felt like he had a lot of power, and I'm not so sure that he did. But I remember the relationship as being let's appease Jeff Carr because he's the only one at Turner Broadcasting that really kind of likes wrestling, with the exception of Ted, and Ted was not hands-on back then.
Dusty has admitted that this whole move is a risk, and he even equated the idea to giving a movie away for free and then charging for it later. Do you remember anyone at the time being against giving away a loaded card like this for free? Or was everybody on board with this idea, considering what the WWF had done?
Well, I think everybody was on board with the idea, but everybody was very uneasy. Well, I know everybody was very uneasy about giving stuff away for free. Because, again, we were still old school enough to think everything that we did pointed
to house show business.
To the house show business, right? Because we're talking 88, and just 5 years ago, everything was house show business.
Right.
So now we're concerned that if you see it on TV, you're not going to want to come out for it. And, of course, that was the start of the business really changing right there, if you think about it. That this free show giving away Sting and Flair, switching the World Tag Team belts. And that was the beginning of, I guess we could point to this to say this was the beginning of wrestling moving from being a house show business to a TV sport.
No, I would agree. Totally.